Let us begin with the feeling of déjà vu. We all know it. It is that sinking sensation in the pit of the stomach when we look across the dinner table or the text thread and realize we are having the exact same argument we had 3 years ago, but with a different person. The face has changed. The name has changed. Maybe the hair color is different. Maybe this one is an artist instead of a banker. Maybe we met this one on Hinge instead of at a bar. But the feeling is identical. The dynamic is identical. The pain is identical. We sit there paralyzed by the repetition. And we ask ourselves the question that haunts every single person searching for love in the modern world. Why does this keep happening to me? Why do I always attract people who leave? Why do I always attract people who need fixing? Why do I always attract people who are emotionally unavailable? Why is the dating pool so trash? We look at our phones, at the endless carousel of faces on the apps, and we feel a profound exhaustion. We feel like we are trapped in a loop. We convince ourselves that we are just unlucky. We tell our friends over brunch, "I just have a broken picker." We consume endless content on TikTok and Instagram about red flags. We arm ourselves with the language of therapy. We label our exes. We call them narcissists. We call them avoidance. We call them gaslighters. We call them toxic. We build a fortress of diagnosis to protect ourselves from the pain. We think, if I can just spot the red flags early enough, if I can just find the person who has done the work, then I will be safe. Then I will finally be happy. But I am here to offer a different perspective. A perspective that is terrifying to the ego but absolutely liberating to the soul. What if the problem isn't them? What if the problem isn't bad luck? What if the algorithm of the universe is not broken but actually working perfectly? What if the person sitting across from us is not a separate entity but a reflection? What if every relationship we have ever had, from the high school sweetheart to the disastrous situationship, is not a window we are looking through, but a mirror we are looking into? This is the ancient spiritual truth that we have forgotten in our culture of blame. Relationships are mirrors. The external world is a projection of our internal world. We do not see people as they are. We see people as we are. We do not attract what we want. We attract what we are. Let's go deeper into the mechanism of this mirror. It operates on the level of the subconscious. It operates in the dark basement of the psyche where we hide the things we don't want to see. Carl Jung, the great psychologist, taught us about the shadow. The shadow is the bag we drag behind us. It contains everything we have repressed to be good, to be lovable, to be civilized. Our anger, our selfishness, our neediness, but also our power, our brilliance, our wildness. And here is the cosmic joke: we fall in love with people who embody our shadow. Think about the last person you fell madly, obsessively, irrationally in love with, the kind of love that felt like a fever. Why were you drawn to them if you are someone who is rigid, responsible, type A, always on time, always holding it together? You probably fell for someone who was chaotic, free-spirited, maybe a little irresponsible, maybe a musician or an artist who doesn't own a watch. Why? Because they are holding the golden shadow that you denied in yourself. You starved your own inner wild child, so you became hungry for theirs. You aren't just attracted to them. You are trying to consume their freedom because you are starving for your own. You are trying to outsource your aliveness to them. You think, if I am with them, I will be free. But the mirror always flips. The honeymoon phase is just the period where the projection holds. Eventually, reality sets in. And when it does, the very thing that drew you in becomes the thing that tears you apart. The freedom you loved becomes irresponsibility that you hate. The stability you loved becomes boring and controlling that you despise. The mystery you loved becomes emotional unavailability. You start fighting them. You start trying to change them. Why can't you be more organized? Why can't you be more open? But you are not fighting them. You are fighting the disowned part of yourself. You are at war with your own reflection. You are trying to break the mirror because you don't like the face it is showing you. Let's talk about the parental mirror. This is the one that hurts the most. Freud called it the repetition compulsion. We marry our unfinished business. We all have wounds from childhood, even those of us with good childhoods. Maybe we felt unseen. Maybe we felt we had to earn love by being perfect. Maybe we felt smothered. Our subconscious mind is like a casting director. It has a script written by a 5-year-old, and it walks into the bar or swipes on Tinder looking for an actor who can play the role of mom or dad. Not the physical role, but the emotional role. We are looking for someone who makes us feel the same specific blend of anxiety and love that we felt growing up. Because to the primitive brain, familiar equals safe, even if familiar is painful. If you had a parent who was emotionally distant, you will feel zero chemistry with a partner who is available, kind, and texts you back immediately. You will say, "There's no spark." You will say, "They are too nice." But when you meet someone who is cold, who makes you chase them, who makes you earn their attention, boom. Fireworks. You think it's passion, but it's not passion. It's trauma recognition. It's your inner child saying, "I know this game, I know how to play this. This time I will win. This time I will make the distant person love me, and I will finally be healed." But we never win that game, because we are asking another person to fix a hole in our soul that they didn't create. We are asking a partner to be a parent, and that is a burden that crushes relationships. When we realize this, that our partner is just an actor, we hired to play a role, we can stop blaming them for reading the lines we wrote. We can look at the script, we can burn the script. Now let's look at the mirror of judgment. What drives you crazy about your partner? What makes your blood boil? Do you judge them for being lazy? Do you judge them for being selfish? Do you judge them for being too emotional? Whatever you judge in them is a part of yourself that you are suppressing. If you judge their laziness, it is because you are a tyrant to yourself. You have internalized the American hustle culture. You derive your worth from your productivity. You don't allow yourself to rest. So when you see them napping or playing video games or doing nothing, it triggers your own envy. You hate them because they are doing what you secretly wish you could do. Stop running. If you judge their selfishness, it is because you are a people pleaser. You have abandoned your own needs to make others happy. You have martyred yourself. Seeing someone prioritize themselves feels like an insult to your sacrifice, but it's not an insult, it's a lesson. They are teaching you that it is okay to have a self. Every judgment is a confession. Every criticism is an autobiography. When you point a finger at them, 3 fingers are pointing back at you. This leads us to the anxious avoidant dance. This is the defining dynamic of modern relationships. The anxious person chases connection. The avoidant person protects their independence. They are magnets for each other. Why? Because they are mirrors of the same fear. They are both terrified of intimacy. The avoidant pushes intimacy away to feel safe. The anxious pursues intimacy with such desperation that they make it impossible to achieve. They are both acting out of a core wound of "I am not safe." The anxious person looks at the avoidant and says, "You are cold, you are broken, you are a narcissist." The avoidant looks at the anxious and says, "You are needy, you are crazy, you are suffocating." But if they stopped fighting and looked in the mirror, they would see the truth. The anxious person is using the other person to regulate their own nervous system. They are saying, "I cannot be okay unless you are okay with me." That is not love. That is parasitism. The avoidant person is using distance to avoid feeling their own unworthiness. They are saying, "I cannot let you in because if you really saw me, you would leave." They are both starved for love, and they are both terrified of it. When we realize that our partner's bad behavior is just a defense mechanism the same as ours, just wearing a different costume, compassion becomes possible. We stop taking it personally. We realize it's not about us, it's about their fear. Let's talk about the ick. This is a popular term now. It's that sudden visceral repulsion we feel towards someone we were dating. Maybe they wore weird shoes. Maybe they laughed too loud. Maybe they were too eager. We think the ick is our intuition telling us they are wrong for us. But often the ick is the mirror of our own vulnerability. When someone likes us too much, when someone is too kind, too open, too available, we get the ick. Why? Because we don't believe we deserve it. We have an internal thermostat for love. If we are set to low self-worth and someone tries to give us high-value love, our system rejects it. It feels uncomfortable. It feels wrong. We recoil. We reject the healthy love to go back to the toxic love because the toxic love matches our internal temperature. The ick is often just our fear of being truly seen, truly held without having to dance for it. So how do we stop the cycle? How do we stop wiping the mirror and start washing our face? It starts with radical ownership. This is the hardest spiritual practice in the world. It is much easier to meditate on a mountain than to practice ownership in a relationship. It means accepting that no one can make you feel anything without your permission. No one can make you feel small unless you already doubt your size. No one can make you feel disrespected unless you are already disrespecting yourself. Your partner is just the button pusher, but you installed the buttons. When you feel triggered, instead of lashing out, you have to turn the camera around. You have to ask the dangerous questions. Why does this hurt so much? When was the first time I felt this feeling? Who does he remind me of right now? What part of me is feeling threatened? This shifts you from victim to student. Instead of saying, "You made me angry," you say, "I am feeling angry because a boundary of mine was crossed, and I haven't been brave enough to enforce it." Instead of saying, "You are ignoring me," you say, "I am feeling abandoned right now, and I know that is my old wound flaring up." When you speak this way, you disarm the conflict. You are not attacking them, you are revealing yourself. And vulnerability is the only thing that creates true intimacy. We need to redefine what a soulmate is. Disney and Hollywood taught us that a soulmate is someone who completes us. Someone who fits us perfectly like a puzzle piece. Someone who makes everything easy. That is a lie. That is a recipe for codependency. A true soulmate is a person who helps your soul grow, and growth is often painful. A seed has to crack open to become a flower. A muscle has to tear to become stronger. A soulmate is the person who rubs you the wrong way in just the right places to sand down your ego. They are the sandpaper to your rough edges. They are the person who pushes your buttons so you can see where the buttons are and dismantle them. So if your relationship is difficult right now, do not assume it is wrong. It might be exactly what you need. It might be the fire that is burning away everything that is not you. The purpose of a relationship is not just to make you happy. Happiness is a byproduct. The purpose of a relationship is to make you conscious. This brings us to the deepest spiritual truth, non-duality. The idea that I am you. In the West, we are obsessed with individualism. I am here in my skin. You are there in your skin. We are separate, but this separation is an illusion. In the deep ecology of the universe, we are all expressions of the same consciousness. We are all leaves on the same tree. When you hurt your partner, you hurt yourself. Literally. The anger you hold in your body releases cortisol into your blood, not theirs. The resentment you brew poisons your sleep, not theirs. Holding on to a grudge is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. When you see your partner as you in a different form, compassion becomes natural. You realize that their cruelty is just their confusion. Their defensiveness is just their fear. This doesn't mean you tolerate abuse. It doesn't mean you stay in a toxic situation. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself and them is to remove access to you. You can love them from a distance. You can bow to the lesson they taught you and walk away. But you do it without hate. You do it without casting them as the villain. You realize that they were just playing a role in your movie to wake you up. And now that you are awake, you can release them from the role. Imagine a room full of mirrors. You are standing in the center. If you frown, 1,000 reflections frown back at you. If you scream, 1,000 reflections scream back. If you fight, 1,000 reflections fight back. You can run around smashing the mirrors trying to fix the reflections, but it won't change your face. You will just have bloody hands and broken glass, but if you smile, if you offer peace, if you offer forgiveness, if you offer love, 1,000 reflections smile back. The world softens, the partner softens, or the wrong partner falls away effortlessly to make space for the right one. The love you have been begging for, chasing, demanding, suddenly appears. It was always there. It was just waiting for you to embody it first. You are the source. You are the projector. The world is just the screen. If you don't like the movie, don't yell at the screen. Don't throw popcorn at the screen. Go up to the projection booth, your own mind, your own heart, and change the film. Change the story you tell about yourself. Change the belief that you are unworthy. Change the belief that love is hard. Change the belief that men are dangerous or women are crazy, and watch with wonder as the reflection changes to match you. This is the secret, the one you have been looking for in all the books, in all the podcasts, in all the tarot readings. You are the one. You have always been the one. The person you are looking for is looking back at you in the mirror every morning. Love that person. Cherish that person, parent that person, heal that person, and the rest will follow. So tonight, before you scroll, before you swipe, before you analyze your text messages with your friends, go to a real mirror. Close the door. Look into your own eyes. Really look. Past the skin, past the tiredness, past the makeup, past the insecurities. Look at the soul in there and say, I see you, I've got you. We don't need them to fix us. We are already whole. Breathe that in. The search is over. You are home.